Shane Gisbergen was able to pick up his first career top 5 finish in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, Shane Gisbergen was probably one of the biggest stories coming out of Atlanta Motor Speedway. The reason why he is one of the biggest stories is because Shane Gisbergen was able to pick up his first career top 5 finish in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Shane Gisbergen probably had about an 8th to 10th place car most of the day, but he stayed in the draft near the end of the event, and Bruce Schlicker made a really good call when all drivers were starting to run out of gas and ran out of fuel. Schlicker decides to call SVG in the pit road to come in and top for fuel. This would put him in a better position at the end of the race because a lot of drivers started running out of gas. Jesse Love, who had the dominant car. You also had Haley Deegan, who ran out of fuel right before that. Allmendinger, his teammate, ran out of gas, and I believe there were a couple other drivers like Ryan Truex who ran out of gas at the end of the race. So it was in a lead drive in the lead pack, and for whatever reason, Chandler Smith decided to not make a move, and that ended up giving Austin Hill the victory. The best thing, like I said, to come out of this show was seeing Shane Gisbergen finish in third position. He spoke to, I think, Jim Utter and multiple reporters after the race, and he said, pretty awesome, the 34-year-old Kiwi said after the race, great job by Bruce and down the box there to pit us before overtime. I had so much fun just learning about it and running in the pack. Yeah, to be P3 in the second race is pretty awesome. I'm stoked. Again, SVG has ran only 5 NASCAR Top 3 Series races and has only had one finish in those 5 races outside the top 15. And I believe in every single race so far up to this point that he's ran, he has finished in the top 20, which is pretty impressive, all things considered. Like I said, SVG, by no stretch of imagination, had probably about the third place car, but you got to be in the right position at the right time, and you got to make the right strategy calls if you're going to be in the right position. And like I said, Bruce Schlicker did what he had to do to get SVG in the right position today, and for him to get his first top 5 is really impressive for him. I do believe that Shane Gisbergen is going to win races this year, and it wouldn't shock me surprisingly by the end of the year, especially if how quickly he's learning these super speedway tracks. He wished he had practice, which I agree these guys need a little more practice than they are getting. But if he gets a little more practice with these super speedways, I think that he can get up there and help the caller cars, his teammates, Allmendinger, and whoever ends up driving for call, like Josh Williams as well. If he had some more teammates like Josh Williams, because Josh Williams had tire trouble and tire issues, I do feel like that he could have had a chance and opportunity to be a little more competitive in the race. But let's be honest, no one really tried to do anything, and Austin was able to get the win and the victory. But still, to see Shane Gisbergen and that number 97 team, because coming into the weekend, I did not think that SVG was going to be a major threat and contender for the win. I thought realistically he was going to get caught up in an incident, but he was able to keep his nose clean, didn't make any mistakes, and they made actually a really good strategy call, and that's what got them the win and got the victory today. So I'm really happy for him, and it's a big win for him in my opinion, even though he didn't win the race. I think it's the best thing, like I said, that came out of this race is seeing Shane Gisbergen get a top 5 finish. And I do believe that SVG, like I said, is going to win some races, and he is going to be a contender. Vegas is going to be interesting because this is going to be the first really true test for him, because we've had a couple super speedways to start the year, but this is going to be the first major true test that he could have. And you think about this too, if he does well enough, I wouldn't be shocked, surprised if he's full-time with Trackhouse next year, which I think regardless of how he ends up doing, if he wins races this year, he's moving full-time to the Cup Series. And he's going to, of course, make some part-time Cup starts this year. And about 3 or 4 races he's going to be running at COTA with Kaulig Racing, which, of course, is an alliance with Trackhouse. There's even some talk maybe that Kaulig could sell their charters to Trackhouse, perhaps considering that Trackhouse and Kaulig have a pretty big technical partnership now at this particular moment in point. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if there's a selling of a charter that is going to end up happening. But again, nonetheless, to see that, Shane Gisbergen got his first career top 5 Xfinity finish, and now his third top 5 finish in 5 races is really impressive. And I think, like I said, his worst finish is 12th, and his worst finish in all 3 series is 19th. I mean, his average finish is like a 7.5 or something like that, which is absolutely incredible, which is almost better than most drivers in the Xfinity Series field. I do believe that SVG will have a solid run next weekend in Las Vegas, and I think for a lot of fans of SVG like myself who think he's extremely talented, if he qualified a little better, he might have been able to get some stage points. That's one thing that is hurting him a little bit is he's 9th in the points. I still think, though, to be 9th in the points after the first 2 races and types of tracks where you can basically lose all your points and be in a lot of trouble to finish in the top 5, I think is very, very impressive for him. So looking at the outlook for him, there's a lot of good tracks coming up. You've got Las Vegas Motor Speedway next week, which I think is going to be really, really fun to watch. College Racing ran really solid there last year, especially Chandler Smith, who almost won the race and had probably the best car. Kyle Busch, who ran in that car last year, also did a really good job at that track. You look at tracks like Darlington, which I think is a driver's track, which I think is really going to play into his footing. I look at tracks like, well, of course, they're not running Bristol, but I look at Martinsville to be a track to kind of watch out for because we saw how good Marcus Ambrose, who Shane Van Gisbergen has been going to for a lot of advice, that's a track to look out for and maybe be a threat. And you got to look at the road courses too. I think AJ Allmendinger is a current favorite in most of these road courses, and Sam Mayer is also going to be a threat there. I think you got Sheldon Creed is going to be a threat at those races too. But I think that Shane Van Gisbergen will be a solid threat and a pretty solid contender for wins with that organization team of Kaulig. Because Kaulig Racing, one thing they've always been good at is road courses since their heyday. Ryan Truex ran good there at times. Justin Haley ran good there. When they brought Allmendinger in to really help the program and the organization there, that really helped that program get better at road courses. And like I said, I think that this year you're going to see Shane Van Gisbergen win a couple races. And I wouldn't be shocked or surprised by the end of this year if he is winning on ovals. So for him to finish in the top 5 at Atlanta, I think is extremely impressive for him. And again, I don't think people realize how big of a deal this actually is for Shane Van Gisbergen in his career, especially because a lot of people are not sure how he was going to do. Some thought he was going to be solid in Xfinity, but some also thought he was going to, because everyone thought, because of course Xfinity car is a lot different than the Cup cars now. They're really almost completely different at this point. But I think that Shane Van Gisbergen did everything he had to do. I think he did amazing and a really, really great job. And nonetheless, to see him get his first career top 5 was really awesome to watch in Xfinity. And again, I think it's going to be a fun year to watch Shane Van Gisbergen to see what he can do. And I really hope he can continue to go out there in winning races, because I think he will win soon. Again, he could win next week at Vegas. You never know at this point how crazy the Xfinity Series is. Nonetheless, so I'm really happy for him and glad to see that Shane Van Gisbergen was able to 100% get his first career win. Not first career win, his first career top 5 in Xfinity. Just happy to see him get it done in the Xfinity Series with Kaulig Racing and Trackhouse, putting a lot of support. And also really cool to see the Red Bull guys over in Australia in a V8 Supercars go out there and congratulate him getting a top 5. I think that was a really nice and really cool gesture as well, by the way. So that's going to be our today's special breaking news video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. Links in the description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your thoughts about Shane Van Gisbergen finishing in the top 5? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later today on the channel, there will be starting lineup video for the And Better Health 400 at Atlanta Motor Speedway, probably in the next hour or so. And then later today, you'll have the Cup Series race view from Atlanta. And then tomorrow on the channel, you will have a NASCAR news. We will talk about the news over the course of the last couple of days. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. And I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.